The first million jobs AI will eliminate will not disappear with sirens, explosions, or dramatic headlines. They will disappear quietly, one hiring freeze at a time, one department restructure at a time, one task automated, one assistant not replaced, one junior role never opened, one customer service team reduced from 50 people to 10, one company discovering that software can do in seconds what used to take hours. And that is why this moment matters. Because the first wave of AI job losses may not look like mass unemployment at the beginning. It may look like normal business efficiency. It may look like productivity. It may look like progress. But behind that progress, millions of workers may slowly realize something uncomfortable. The economy is not only asking, can you work hard? It is now asking, can your work be automated? For decades, automation mostly threatened physical and repetitive jobs. Factory workers, warehouse workers, cashiers, drivers, people who did work that machines could see, measure, and repeat. But artificial intelligence is different. AI does not only move boxes. AI reads, writes, summarizes, translates, analyzes, calculates, answers customers, creates images, writes code, processes documents, compares contracts, builds presentations, generates reports. And suddenly the workers feeling pressure are not only on factory floors, they are in offices, at desks, behind laptops, in call centers, in banks, in insurance companies, in marketing agencies, in media companies, in accounting departments, in customer support teams, and in thousands of jobs that once felt safe because they required a computer, a degree, and a clean shirt. This is the problem at the center of the AI economy. AI may not eliminate entire professions overnight, but it can eliminate tasks. And when enough tasks disappear, jobs begin to disappear too. A company may not say, we are replacing employees with AI. It may say we are improving efficiency. It may say we are streamlining operations. It may say we are doing more with less. But for the worker whose role is reduced, frozen, outsourced, or never created, the result is the same. The income is gone. The opportunity is gone. The path into the middle class becomes narrower. And this is happening during an already difficult financial period. Life is expensive. Housing is under pressure. Debt is high. Interest rates have made borrowing painful. Markets are volatile, and many families already feel stretched. So when AI enters the labor market, it does not enter a calm world. It enters a world where people are already anxious. The first jobs most exposed to AI will likely be jobs built around predictable information work. Not necessarily easy work. Not unimportant work, but work where large parts of the day involve processing, organizing, repeating, or responding to information. Think about data entry. A person receives information, checks it, copies it, enters it into a system, and moves it forward. AI can read documents, extract numbers, detect patterns, and update databases. Not perfectly, not always safely, but fast enough that companies will ask whether they still need the same number of people. Think about basic customer support. For years, companies needed large teams to answer common questions. Where is my order? How do I reset my password? What is my balance? How do I cancel my subscription? Today, AI chat systems can answer thousands of these questions at once. The human worker is still needed for complex cases, emotional situations, complaints, exceptions, and trust. But the simple questions are being automated. And simple questions are often what supported many entry-level jobs. Think about clerical office work, scheduling, filing, sorting emails, preparing documents, writing simple responses, summarizing meetings, updating spreadsheets. These tasks once required human time. Now AI can do many of them instantly. Again, not always perfectly, but good enough to change staffing decisions. That phrase matters. Good enough. AI does not need to be perfect to change the economy. It only needs to be good enough, cheap enough, and fast enough for companies to adjust. That is the uncomfortable truth. A human worker may still produce better work, but if AI produces acceptable work at a fraction of the cost, many businesses will choose acceptable, especially in competitive industries, especially during economic pressure, especially when investors demand higher profits. That is how the first million jobs may disappear. Not because AI becomes human, but because companies redefine what is good enough. The next group at risk is content production at the lower end of the market. Basic articles, simple product descriptions, generic marketing emails, social media captions, simple graphics, basic video scripts, translation drafts, first versions of documents. For years, this kind of work gave income to junior writers, freelancers, assistants, and creative workers starting their careers. AI can now produce a first draft almost instantly. That does not mean great writers disappear. It does not mean creativity becomes worthless, but it does mean the bottom layer of the creative economy becomes crowded, cheaper, and more automated. The same thing can happen in software. Senior engineers who understand architecture, security systems, and product logic may become more powerful with AI. But junior coding tasks are more exposed. Simple scripts, bug fixes, basic website components, code explanations, documentation, testing. AI can help produce these faster. That creates a strange situation. The best workers may become more valuable, but beginners may find it harder to enter. And if fewer beginners are hired today, where do tomorrow's experts come from? This is one of the biggest risks of AI. Not only job loss, career ladder loss. The first rung of the ladder may weaken, and if young people cannot get entry-level experience, the entire labor market changes. The same risk exists in finance, law, insurance, consulting, and administration. A junior analyst once spent hours collecting information, formatting slides, summarizing documents, and preparing basic reports. AI can now support many of those tasks. A junior legal assistant once reviewed documents and searched for patterns. AI can help do that too. An insurance worker once processed claims and checked forms. AI can assist with that. The human is still important. Judgment still matters. Responsibility still matters. Trust still matters. But the number of humans needed for the same amount of work may decline. And that is the economic pressure. AI may not replace your whole job, but it may allow one person to do the work of three. For a company, that sounds like productivity. For workers, it can feel like a threat. Now we must be balanced. AI will also create jobs. New tools need builders. Systems need managers. Companies need AI trainers, auditors, cybersecurity experts, data specialists, product managers, and people who understand how to combine human judgment with machine speed. Entire new businesses will appear. Some workers will become more productive and earn more. Some small companies will compete with larger companies because AI gives them tools they could never afford before. A freelancer with AI can move faster. A small business can serve more clients. A creator can produce more efficiently. A researcher can analyze information faster. A worker who learns to use AI well may become more valuable, not less. So the story is not simply AI destroys jobs. That is too simple. The real story is more complex. AI destroys some tasks, transforms many jobs, creates new opportunities, and increases the gap between workers who adapt and workers who are left behind. The danger is transition, because even when technology creates more opportunity in the long run, the transition can be painful in the short run. A person who loses a job today cannot pay bills with future economic theory. Rent is due now. Food is needed now. Debt payments arrive now. Children need support now. That is why this shift feels so serious. AI is arriving during a cost of living crisis. If someone loses income while everything is already expensive, the damage can be immediate. This affects normal people in very real ways. A customer support worker may see their team shrink. An office assistant may find that fewer administrative roles are available. A junior marketer may compete against software that creates campaigns in seconds. A translator may see basic translation jobs collapse in price. A young graduate may discover that entry-level analyst roles require experience they never had the chance to get. A freelancer may find clients asking for lower prices because AI can do it cheaper. This is how technology pressure becomes household pressure. Less income, more competition, lower bargaining power, more anxiety, and possibly more debt. When people feel financially insecure, they often rely on credit to survive. Credit cards, personal loans, payment plans, buy now, pay later. But debt is dangerous when income becomes unstable, because debt assumes the future will be predictable. AI makes the future less predictable for many workers. That is the risk. Not that everyone loses their job tomorrow, but that more people become fragile, more people live with uncertainty, more people feel replaceable, more people cannot plan. And when enough people feel that way, the whole economy changes. Consumer spending weakens, housing decisions are delayed, families postpone major life choices, trust declines, anger rises, people start looking for someone to blame, and that creates social pressure, not just financial pressure. But there is another side. The opportunity is real for people who understand what is happening early. The first lesson is this: do not only protect your job title, protect your value. A job title can disappear, a task can be automated, but real value is harder to replace. Value means understanding problems deeply, communicating clearly, making decisions, building trust, managing people, understanding customers, using tools intelligently, seeing the bigger picture. AI is powerful, but it does not truly understand responsibility. It does not carry consequences. It does not know your client. It does not know your company culture. It does not feel the human moment when someone is angry, afraid, confused, or desperate. That human layer still matters. The second lesson is to learn AI before AI is forced on you. Do not wait until your company announces restructuring. Do not wait until your industry changes. Start learning now, not to become obsessed, not to chase hype, but to understand the tools that are changing your field. Ask yourself a simple question: which parts of my work are repetitive? Which parts require judgment? Which parts could AI help with? Which parts make me uniquely useful? That question can reveal where you are vulnerable and where you can grow. The third lesson is to move toward work that combines technology with human judgment. The safest work may not be anti-technology. It may be technology plus humanity, AI plus communication, AI plus strategy, AI plus trust, AI plus leadership, AI plus creativity, AI plus ethics, AI plus real-world experience. The people who only compete against AI may struggle. The people who use AI as leverage may have more options. The fourth lesson is to build financial breathing room where possible. This is not easy. Many people are already stretched, but uncertainty makes emergency savings, lower debt, and flexible expenses more important. Because when the labor market changes quickly, flexibility is protection. A smaller fixed lifestyle can be a powerful defense. The fifth lesson is to avoid panic. Fear sells. Videos claiming every job is gone tomorrow may attract attention, but panic does not help. AI will change work unevenly. Some industries will move fast, others will move slowly. Some jobs will shrink, others will grow. Some workers will suffer, others will benefit. The goal is not to predict everything perfectly. The goal is to become harder to replace and harder to break. The first million jobs AI eliminates will not be the end of work, but they may be the beginning of a new labor market. A market where average is more dangerous, where basic tasks are cheaper, where entry-level paths become harder, where adaptability matters more, where the people who learn fastest may move ahead, and where financial security depends not only on having a job, but on having skills that remain valuable as the job changes. This is not a message of doom. It is a warning to wake up. Because AI is not waiting until society is ready. It is moving into offices, systems, workflows, and decisions right now. The question is not whether AI will affect work. It already is. The question is who will be prepared when the impact reaches their own industry. The future will still need people, but it may need different people. People who can think clearly, learn quickly, use technology wisely, solve real problems, build trust, and adapt before they are forced to. The first million jobs AI eliminates may happen quietly, but for the people affected, it will not feel quiet. It will feel personal. It will feel sudden. It will feel like the future arrived before they were ready. And that is why the time to understand this shift is not after the layoff, not after the hiring freeze, not after the company restructures. The time is now. Because the most dangerous thing about AI is not that it will replace everyone. The most dangerous thing is believing it will replace everyone else, but never yo. If this video helped you understand how AI could reshape the job market, subscribe to the Financial Reset. Here we explain the real forces changing work, money, technology, and everyday life, without hype, without panic, and without fake promises.